And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is Thursday, May 7th, 2026. A travel day for yours truly. One of those things. So we're doing this show in the last hour of the market day, which is not the most pretty day on earth, and we're going to go through it, specifically very important areas. But first, in case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, war, tariffs, more tariffs, debt, deficit, scams, shams, corruption, you name it, we cover it. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, just put our name in and follow us. And if you'd like to email me, just be nice. We'll be nice back. You can disagree with us 1,000%. We can disagree with you 1,000%. We'll be respectful. That's all. Unless you like Hamas or promote terrorism or you're a racist against anybody. We loathe racism. Loathe. And I've seen so much racism throughout my life. Not just me as Jewish, but against blacks, Muslims, Sikhs. I can go on, but for another time. Okay, so as I speak, Dow's down 345, S&P down 35. That's not bad. Nasdaq's only down 74 because today, for a change, you have very strong software stocks. You had some software earnings, and it has lifted it up. And a day like today, with the Dow's down 340, Microsoft's up 9, Salesforce.com's up 6, Adobe's up 7, SAP is up. So it's a CrowdStrike 35, for example. So that's helping out. But what's not doing well is the semiconductors. And I just want to spend a couple of moments on it because that has been the hottest place since the gap up on April 8th. And almost vertical is just about the way to describe it. So I want to let you know, more than likely, we probably hit a moment on the semiconductors. Not because anything's bad, it's because of trajectory. So imagine you're looking at price on a chart, and you see it going from, let's see, 7 o'clock. I take that back. Let's say the trajectory is 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. The trajectory. A normal rally for any entity is from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And then all of a sudden, over a few week period, the trajectory goes from 7 to 1. Actually, even, how about 6:30 to 12:30? Almost vertical. So the trajectory had a major league change from the norm. Well, typically, notice the word typically, you're going to be able to figure out a moment where the trajectory has to stop, pullbacks have to occur, and set things up for higher prices after, potentially. I think there's a chance. Notice I didn't guarantee. Notice I didn't say 100%. I think there's a chance that we've gotten to that moment on the semis as a whole, but just so you know, there's some semiconductor stocks that have gapped up today. I got one that's up $160 today, but others not as great. And I would also mention that some of the artificial intelligence names that had that same trajectory, thinking the chance same thing here. It would be normal as all heck. It would be normal as I walk outside here in Central Florida. It's over 90 degrees today. That's actually not normal. But hot in the summertime in Florida. It would be quite normal. And I think there's a chance we started it today. Not 100% sure. And often you can have a swift down move, rally back up, and then head lower. And we'll just see, take it day by day. The semiconductor index is down 364 right now, which is a little over 3%, but in relation to the move, that's a fly on an elephant's butt. But we just want to let you know, and some of the strongest names are coming in today, 5 to 10% drops. The strongest name has been SanDisk. It's down $105 today to $1,300, but that's only after a pretty good move. GEV's down 75, LITE's down 72, and I can go through others, but you get the point. That said, the software stocks, definitely getting those money flows right now. And how long that lasts, I don't know. But some of the weakest stuff is showing potentially bottoming formations, if not even better than that, meaning they took stair steps up already. We'll see. I know it sounds like we're micromanaging, but we're really not. We're just telling you from a point of view today. And things we mentioned, CrowdStrike's up strong, but Palo Alto Networks, Snowflake, Zscaler, Autodesk, even the real weak like Intuit, HubSpot, Workday. We've been highlighting these names for a long while as brutal bear markets. Brutal. Maybe they're coming out of the bear markets after gargantuan drops. And I think what may be happening there, just remember, their drops, the reason that was told to us is artificial intelligence is going to kill them and all that crap. Well, I can tell you something like a Datadog reported earnings up 30 and up 32. The stock's up 30% today. The stock's had a big draw, a 50% drawdown before this. So as earnings come out, all of a sudden the institution's like, well, wait a minute here. Hold on a second. I thought, and they're realizing maybe it's not going to be this gargantuan effect, and we'll see. And maybe I'll be clear that there is plenty weaker than others. There's plenty still way down. Oracle sitting at 193 off of a high of 345. By the way, Oracle was 134 at the lows about 7 weeks ago. 193 today. So a nice good move off the lows. Otherwise, we're still bearish on housing and housing related. We're still retail. One of the stronger names in retail was Five Below. It broke the 50-day moving average today, the first time since November. Recently, a strong name was Tapestry. That was down $18 today on their earnings. And of course, there are other stocks like Burlington and Boot Barn that were actually acting well weeks and weeks ago. They're now toast. So we're mostly avoid on retail also. We're mostly avoid, and they bounced yesterday a little bit on travel related, most defense stocks, not all, pharmaceuticals, autos. One area that I think we're out of the muck, still way down in their bear markets, but I think out of the muck is the payroll, ADP and Paychex. They may be turning the corner, but that's after gargantuan drops. A lot of the financials we're still avoids on, not all. I could tell you Citigroup acts pretty decent, Morgan Stanley acts decent, Bank of New York acts decent, but they're not going anywhere. On the other end, Wells Fargo acts like crap. So somewhat of the mixed bag there. But for me, the leading group has been the semis, and maybe they hit a moment today, along with some other artificial intelligence stuff. And again, nothing wrong. Trajectory. Up next. More in the markets. News of the day. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. We'll get into the news a little bit. As you know, one of our big complaints has been the social media of the war via the head honcho, top dog, big cheese. And we've always said that because so many things he says changes in 3 hours, and we're talking about war. You know, we're talking about war. People dying. Why are we social mediaing it? And then a lot of things turned out to be wrong, and we keep hearing who's in control, who's not in control. And we've been telling you, I got news for you. We're not in control. Militarily, we are. We always are. But the rest of it, we're not in control. Control is also what the opposing does or thinks. So there's some news out there. We'll get into that in a little bit. The news kind of had oil prices shift today after dropping markedly. By the way, we are very much avoids on a lot of oil stocks. The oil services actually is toppy, but the big oil and the explorers and production, those have topped. And some of the big oil really have some pretty icky patterns right now. And I must tell you, some weirdness out there. I saw some people whining, complaining about how much money the oil companies are making, and it's not their fault. And they have to raise prices as the price of oil goes up, or they lose the money. Anyway. So there's some of that going on. We'll get into a little bit of that. And just remember, regardless, we're rooting for our president to do great things, to be successful. We are not TDS. We are truth derangement syndrome, and we just want good things. And when we complain about pardons and we complain about other things, it's for a damn good reason. I hope you understand that, because then there's the next person, and then the next, and then the next. What else? I can tell you some of the sentiment indicators off the charts. I heard about put calls were at a multi-month complacency. We'll see. The good news for the big indices is the fact that you get rotation into software, and that keeps the big indices in good stead. Microsoft being up 9 today is huge. What is it, top 3 or 4? Nvidia's up today. Goldman Sachs put something out and raised something and something, and the markets listen. So Nvidia's having a decent day. Qualcomm's having a decent day. So you got a few names that are really helping out. Advanced declines not good today. Up down volume not good today. But some great reactions again. You've heard of Grainger, WW Grainger? Big move on earnings. Up $75 today. Was up, looks like 100. Pulling back, but up 75. Good day. How about, I bet you never heard of this one, SI Time. Semiconductor. Up $162 today. 26%. How about this one? Bet you never heard of this one. Xometry. You spell it Xometry, symbol XMTR. Up 39% today. AI online manufacturing marketplace, whatever the hell that means. I'm going to have to look that up. That had a good day. So there's still pretty darn good reactions to earnings. Some faded today because it's a rougher day. On the other end, I'm not thrilled. Listen carefully. LPL Financial, investment brokers. Ameriprise, investment brokers. How about Raymond James? How about Schwab? Oh, investment brokers. That's really breaking down. That's not an unimportant group to the market, in my humble opinion. That area is really fading, and that's of note. And when we say to you, you gotta be sector selective or else, oh, we mean it. I can mention 500 to 1,000 stocks, a lot of them you've heard of, that have just all been destroyed. So we'll keep letting you know this area, that area, this area, that area. I was hopeful today on gold and silver, but they're fading because the dollar got strong at the end of the day because whatever the hell's going on, with the Iran thing. Crypto has been better, but I have to tell you, when it was really going good, it had what I call oomph. O-O-O-M-P-H. 3 O's. When it rallies now, it just doesn't feel like it has a lot of oomph. In fact, any oomph. I'll let you know if that changes. They're still out there telling you it's going to 1.5 million. Oh, and by the way, the people that told you in December was going to 150,000, you paying attention to them? I hope not. Also of note today, Caterpillar, good reaction to earnings, an AI thing, down $35 today. Things like that. And then big banks, JP Morgan, down 8. I got to see if there's news on that. So, icky day except for software's having a pretty decent day. You wouldn't even know it. Other areas having a decent day today. Hey, you're bouncing a little bit, the airlines, but nothing's going on there. Garbage is having a decent day. Yippee-yay-yay. And then I had to bring this one up. You've heard of Shake Shack? So, I've never had a burger at Shake Shack. And by the way, I'm not really a burger guy that much. I think if I have one a year, it's a big year. But I have to tell you, they reported earnings break even that totally missed expectations. And guidance not good. It's down almost $28 today. And it's not $1,000 stock. $28 to $69. Up next, I got a question for you on that and much more. Got the news. This is the one only Investor's Edge. So, Shake Shack down 28%. It's down 55% from its highs of 10 months ago. Serious deterioration. Any of you out there have any idea on it? Are they doing anything wrong? Have you been to it? I bring that up because I had an experience today with PayPal. Just a separate thing. And I don't know if you know this, but PayPal, they do a lot of business. But the stock has gone from, about almost 321 down to 46? Well, After the experience I had with PayPal today, I can understand why it's gone from 300 to 46. It was nightmarish with PayPal. That's my experience today. To try to get a human being on the phone, I think if somebody had a camera on me, it would have been a Curb Your Enthusiasm skit with Larry David. I was losing it. It went from one robot to the next. And they would ask a question of me, and I'd answer it, and it would ask the same question a second. I can't even begin to tell you. I'm dumping their ass for my business. That was so depressing. It took me 44 minutes, I timed it, to get somebody on the phone. And to their credit, was a big help. But the system... Anyway, back on Shake Shack. If anybody knows the restaurant industry's been there, I want to know what you're hearing, what you're thinking, what's going on, why is their numbers down, and all that. Always interested. You know, for a while we did the Kmart, Walmart, Target thing for you on this show. Many years ago. Like weekly, I'd come on, okay, I went to Kmart, want to see it. Dirty, dingy, shelves were blank, nobody helping. Oh, I went to Walmart, they were very nice, everything was clean, everything fully stocked. Oh, I went to Target, this was before Target's problems. And guess what happened to Kmart's store? Went out of business. My store went out of business, and I don't know, is there no Kmarts left? So we like doing that. Sometimes it's your eyes, your vision, your hearing, your smell. Like if I had to tell Chipotle right now, you can't go to 3 different Chipotles and have 3 different spices type of thing. Should have consistency, right? And also, you can't go to one where they give you a bunch of chicken and another one where they give you very little, where you have to actually ask for a double order and pay more. Consistency. Just some things we tend to look at. Anyway, PayPal was a nightmare. And again, on the Shake Shack thing, let me know. And by the way, I did this whole thing on Portland. I got a ton of emails on Portland from you all, and you all telling me exactly what's going on there and why it's going on. And, you know, LA's got some... You know the story, by the way. You all know the story. So as I speak, the market's still rolling. Dow down 370, NASDAQ down 100 now. And again, the semis are down almost 400. But just keep in mind, they've had a gargantuan move. This would be as normal can be. And you just don't know which day it's going to start. I think today probably started it. And we'll see what goes on. News. Always interested in something like this. You ready? Apple is going to pay iPhone owners $250 million over a settlement of false advertising, and you need to check to see if you qualify. It's over claims that it misled customers about Siri's artificial intelligence features. The tech giant on purpose deceived customers by marketing these features that did not yet exist, leading them to buy iPhones based on false advertising. You know what the problem with these class action suits? You get like 8 cents. I think a lot of these companies know, I guess they have probably an envelope with a certain amount of money in it. Yeah, we know we're going to pay this out, but boy, are we going to have a lot of sales. It applies to consumers in the U.S. who purchased an Apple Intelligence-compatible device between June 10, 2024 and March 29, 2025. iPhone 15 Pro, Pro Max, 16, 16E, whatever, are expected to receive about $25 per qualifying device. Hey, thanks. So you cheated me, but you're going to give me $25. I love corporate America. In the news, and this is what I'm talking about. A couple of things. You know, our transportation secretary, I like the guy. I think he's presidential material. Have you watched him? I think he's done a great job. Whenever there's an issue, Sean Duffy is his name. I think he's handled himself well. He's out today saying that oil prices are performing well and you should go and drive this summer and don't worry about it. You know what I'd love to see one time? Somebody just tell the truth. We know oil prices are not performing well for you. But we do believe when all is... You get my point? Treating you like idiots. I wish they'd figure that crap out. You score more points by just telling the truth. Speaking of telling the truth, here's what we're finding out today. A leaked CIA briefing to the White House. And the White House knew. Concludes that Iran has retained significant ballistic missile capabilities. Roughly 70% of its pre-war missile stockpile and 75% of its mobile launcher inventory. Yet the president has been out saying we have destroyed them, they got nothing left. This is what we mean. Remember, this war was started because we were told they had 2 weeks to get a nuclear whatever. A month before that, the president told us they obliterated their nuclear. And I think they think we forget these things. Anyway, this is what I'm constantly talking about. We had it for 4 years from Biden, the border secure. But it doesn't stop with this presidency. And all they got to do is just tell the truth. But I guess that's not in the cards, is it? Anyway, this is a big story. This is from the CIA, our own peeps. 70% of pre-war missile stockpile and 75% of its mobile launcher inventory. It's a big wow. And then, in other news, and this is funny, an American bank employee hung up on the Pope when he called customer service because she thought it was a prank call. Leo, formerly known as Robert Prevost, who was born and raised in Chicago, called his hometown bank to let them know he moved about 2 months ago after became the Pope, the pontiff. She asked all the security questions and then says, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. It says here you have to come in person." He said, "Well, I'm not going to be able to do that. I gave you all the security questions." She didn't believe him. Okay, so that's the funny story of the day. Oh, and by the way, there was a poll. Are you happy with the Pope saying he wants peace and not war? 30% of the people were negative on that statement. Where does the 30% of these people come from? Think about that. The poll was, the Pope says he wants peace and not war. Are you positive or negative on that statement? 30% said negative. The world is going nuts. Up next, I think I'm done with the news. Back on the markets as we take you towards the close. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Hey, don't forget it's Mother's Day Sunday. Don't forget your moms. Do something nice, say something nice, and all that. All right, let's see. By the way, do you get like 10 spam calls from people that want to give you loans? I get 10 a day. I applied for a mortgage like 6 months ago. But that's it. But I'm talking business loans. How did I get on this list? I get 10 a day. Do you guys get that too? Gee whiz. All right. So, Dow down 330 as I speak. Caterpillar not helping, down 35. It's a rough day for AI. That would be about 36. That's like 200 Dow points. Goldman's down 12. Remember, those are the two most important names in the Dow because of price. They need to fix that. Rough day for the leading stocks and leading groups. That's the semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and all that. They were overdue. As I said from the outset, the trajectory had to happen somewhere. And this is a guess. I think we may get a little time and price in these areas now. And that means backing and filling, pulling in a little more, and also separating. What do we mean by that? Well, I can tell you symbol FN, CLS, probably LITE, all been strong, but had bad reactions to earnings. Probably they're going to be under some good pressure versus some good reaction to earnings that are just extended and they'll have to go through some motions. And what that means is just heading back to a little bit of what we call the norm. And that is a normal trajectory. That's all. And it will be staggered. We may have a decent day tomorrow and then a rough day Monday, backing and filling. Again, I think we may have hit a little bit of a moment here. I think we did. That would be a good guess. And no way, shape, or form we're saying the world is ending. Just the leading groups may be on the pullback mode now. That's all. We said to you also, we think this crypto just doesn't have oomph. It's off the lows with a lot of things, doesn't have oomph. We also told you oil stocks are really trading poorly right now, even though oil prices completely reversed today. We're still avoids on housing and housing related. Retail lost 5 below today. This is one of the 3 strong stocks. Oh, by the way, and probably lost Target also. Target's been strong relatively. The strongest name has been Ross Stores, and even that, a little bit of pressure today. So we're not fans there. And you know all the other areas we're not fans of. We're big believers that we follow 200 sectors, some subsectors, countries, commodities. As we said, the strongest countries, South Korea and Taiwan, very, very strong because of the semiconductor thing. And then you go through a litany of others that are not as strong, and you can avoid those. Yes, South Korea, man, oh man. And that has to do with Hynix and Samsung. Just kind of sort of gone vertical. We are not fans of a lot of financials. Just not fans. And we don't like the way they're trading the banks today. They have not been in bull mode. They have not been in bear mode. They have been in sit mode. So no biggie. But if I ever said to you Goldman broke $900, then I'd be talking about maybe starting a downtrend. If I said to you JP Morgan, $305, that would be maybe a little bit worrisome. There are certain levels that we follow. And again, the reason is banks are important to the market. And as we've said to you, steel stocks have been strong, but having a terrible day. But trajectory. I think we're getting a little bit change of trajectory, not the end of the world. And again, software getting some juice here. And I don't own it, but the IGV definitely some relative strength, moved above. We talk about these stair steps. IGV is going to finish above a stair step today. Is it successful from here? Beats the hell out of me. We're just pointing out, how you go from a bear market to a bull market or a bullish market, stair step back up. You got to start with the first one, second, third, fourth, and then you're on your way. There were so many moving parts today in Iran. You can go read about it. If I took over the presidency today, I get that crap done immediately. I didn't say I would get it done. I would try to get it done immediately. Just get the hell out of there. We've got to get oil prices down. Aunt Mary and Uncle Bob are getting trashed. And that's why I said what I said about Secretary Duffy today. Aunt Mary and Uncle Bob are getting trashed. When I do okay. When I look at what I pay at the pump, and I'm like, wow. Think about people that paycheck to paycheck, or just have a little bit of savings. It's a huge difference. Let's hope they get that done. You'll have a great day. Drive carefully. I'm traveling tonight. Market will close in about 15 minutes. Rough day. And when you get home, do like we do. Make sure you hug your family, hug your children. They will feel better. You'll feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Peace out all. Bye-bye.